Hey, hope that you are doing pretty well. Welcome to a new episode of Transformed and Renewed. And before we get started, yes, I am overcoming some sniffles. Had a sore throat a few days ago, but thank the Lord that I am not dealing with that as of today, and it has been well since yesterday. So thank the Lord for that. But if you're tuning in, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on your screen. That way you can stay up to date with the latest content that we'll be sharing with you. So usually we'll share some videos, shorts, reels, and then we also do what we're doing now, which we give you a longer segment. And hopefully, this you may have found useful, especially if you are returning. If this is your first time, again, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe. And you can get these weekly updates just by tuning in. Once you hit that like and subscribe button, get an update. So that way, just kind of like, tuning into your favorite TV show. But this is something that you can add to the schedule. So, today we're going to be talking about ergonomics. Ergonomics. Okay. I know it sounds close to macroeconomics or economics, but this is ergonomics, and this is the study of the body as it relates to working using good posture. Because sometimes we don't always do that, especially when it comes to working. And I can definitely tell you that there have been times where I did not use the best posture, but I realized that I likely should have. And there are some, studies that show that having poor posture, obviously over time, can cause some issues, whether it's arthritis, osteoporosis, just different muscle problems, strains on your eyes, so your vision starts to get blurry. And you may feel like, well, I'm pretty young. Why is my vision so blurry? And it could be because of those factors. So, when it comes to ergonomics, at least I can tell you that there are some things years ago that I started to implement, and it has been wonderful for me as I have been working. A lot of times I may work at the desk, and then sometimes I'll walk away just to stretch, to allow my muscles to get some good blood flowing, because obviously when you're working at a desk, you could likely be sitting for hours, depending on the project or depending on the type of work that you're doing. And you tend to forget that, hey, I need to start moving. If I do not move, then over time, I'm just going to start to feel just slouchy when I get up. And you've seen people when they get up, it takes a minute. These could be young people. I mean, younger under the ages of 45, just having a tough time getting up. Now, I'm not talking about anybody because, again, I was on the verge of being that way, but then I realized, like, hey, we need to get some measures in place. So, one of the things that I will start with when it comes to ergonomics is you always want to think about safety, especially when it comes to working at a desk. And like I said, because I typically, may work at a desk, and if my work is going to last for some hours, I have to factor in a couple of things. Like if I'm going to be working for longer than an hour or two, and then I realized it's good to take some breaks. So like every 20 minutes, sometimes it may be shorter, like 15 minutes, may look away. So my eyes may look left to right, up and down. And this allows me to do some eye exercises. Doesn't cause my eyes to feel strained, because obviously when you're looking at a screen, your eyes are not getting a lot of movement. And so it can be quite difficult for you to focus on something else. And so I know that there's also another technique in which, if you're looking at a screen for X number of minutes, you can then look past that screen at an object in a distant view. And this can also help you with focusing your peripherals on something farther. So looking straight ahead, even to the side. But it also just kind of helps your eye muscles to not feel constrained to the same image on your computer. And so that is one thing that I've tried to implement, continue to implement. Sometimes, some days I may be better at it, some days I may not. Some days I may switch it up. So I may do some stretching, some side stretching. Then I may just look up, down, based on some chiropractic techniques. I may just turn my head to the left, turn my head to the right, tip my head back. And this also helps my eyes to see something else, as well as getting my neck some movement. Because you can imagine if you are looking at something for so long, your neck, you have to think about it. How often did it move? So when I think about that, I realize like, hey, I need to do better. And so that those are some of the things that I've done. Another tip that I would share that has been wonderful, but it is an investment, is getting an adjustable desk. And when I got that years ago, life changer. I mean, life changer. One of the things I can tell you is that it was one of those features that I never thought that I probably would be able to get, but it just happened so casually where I had an adjustable desk and it was like, whoa, okay, I can actually work while I'm standing because for me, I like to stand a lot. And so sometimes I do balance standing and sitting because obviously if I stand too long, especially with the type of footwear, as well as the ground, if I don't have a comfortable mat, you can tend to feel some back problems because you are putting so much weight on your heels. And so that can cause some back problems over time. But one of the things that I realized is having an adjustable desk is you're just able to kind of do a lot. I'm able to flex a little bit, stretch my muscles, just kind of twist and turn. And right now I'm actually standing up because I have an adjustable desk. And so that is one of the features. You can pretty much do any type of leg exercises. I know at different companies, obviously they do have treadmill. So they have the treadmills to where you can work work out while you're working. And that is something that I've also done. Obviously, I don't have the exact same treadmill, but I have gotten on the treadmill, done some work at the same time. Wasn't as ergonomic just because of the height difference between my laptop, but again, if you can invest in it, it can be a game changer. So those are some of the things I would say for you to look into. Now, obviously, some basics, okay? And you may have heard this, but if not, then these are just some, I guess, housekeeping things that you can keep in mind. So that way, when you do go back to your desk or you do have to work, you can take a quick pause and you can say, hmm, am I actually using the proper ergonomic tips or am I using the best posture when it comes to working? Because I don't want to get an injury. So let me think about how this can be better. So, one of the things that I do again, I got a laptop. And so I like to make sure that my head is not tilting. That's one of the things I've learned. Going to a chiropractic and learning about the neck movements is you don't want your neck to be positioned in a certain direction, especially down. And this is typically the direction whenever a person has a phone or is doing something on a tablet or a computer, is you're looking down. But over time, this can cause a lot of strain on your neck because your muscles, especially if you're keeping that posture for a certain period of time, you can imagine that there is a lot of stress that is building up on the back of your neck. So as you lift your neck up, you may feel some strain over time. And so to avoid that, it's recommended that you keep a keep your head straight. But if you have to look down using your eyes, okay. And if it involves your eyes having to go down further, so I probably say this is roughly like a 45-degree angle, maybe 40. Not accurate, but if it causes you to look further below that, then you likely want to find a way to adjust your computer to where you're not having to look down further than a 45-degree angle. I probably say about 40 or 35. Don't want to overdo it that way. But at least once you're looking down without bending your head, this keeps your neck posture good. And it also only works your eyes. Okay. So you're not doing both. You're not causing your neck to be strained. And then you're trying to focus your eyes. So there's one thing I will say. Another thing is getting, and I don't have an example, but getting a mouse that is I want to say or I ain't gonna say ambidextrous, but it's not your traditional mouse, but it's a mouse to where you pretty much cuff it. Okay. And if I have an image, let me see if I can pull up an image. Ergonomic mouse. Let me see if I can pull up an image because I want you to get an idea of how this actually looks. So yeah, so let's see if I can pull this one up. Let's see. So I want to show you this is an example, and I can also show you an adjustable desk while we're at it. Why not? Why not do that? Let's do it. All right. So let's see. Uh, open. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. So yeah. So this first one is going to be image of the adjustable desk. And so this is pretty much how it looks. Obviously, when you have your monitor and other objects on top, may not look as big then, but I can tell you some come in different sizes. Some can come in, I want to say this is about 3 feet. Some can come in 4 feet. So they can get pretty long and wide. And so it is definitely an investment, I will say, somewhere between like, I think I got this one prior to COVID. So they could be somewhere in the 200s to like 500. Some can even be up in the thousands. But this is an idea of, if you want to sit, but then you can stand. Some have a manual lever, and then some have the automatic lever, which I have the automatic lever, and so you just need an outlet. Once you plug that up, you're pretty much good to go. And then we also have the ergonomic mouse, and so they have different ones depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed. I want to say that this one is right-handed, and this was one I used, but on this part here, this is where I typically will use my thumb, and then this other part is where you use your other four fingers. But I can say that using this in combination with the adjustable desk, and then there's another one, it's like a wrist pad, but it's basically like a soft pad that you rest your wrist on. So instead of like as you type, you can actually just rest your wrist on that pad. That can do wonders for you. So I will say that if you can invest in either one of those, that is wonderful. Again, because when it comes to ergonomics, you never want to have an injury because I'm not sure about you, but when it comes to dealing with any type of injury, health related injury, they are not cheap. Okay. And especially with inflation, nothing that I've seen has gotten any cheaper, especially when it comes to health. Okay. So I want to do my best at letting you know how you can avoid that so you can save some dollars. Okay. And again, these are just some of the inexpensive routes that you can take. I always like to look at it this way is if I can invest in something that is going to help me from having to spend thousands of dollars, I'm going to do that. Okay. So I hope that you find this information helpful, and if there's anything that you find that I may not have shown, again, there are many different options and choices for you to choose from when it comes to ergonomics. But hopefully, with some of these tips, you can at least get started if you haven't at least developed a working environment that is ergonomically safe. Okay. So, again, if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on your screen. Make sure you do that now because you don't want to miss these updates that we have for you. That way, if you're not getting these live updates that we do every Thursday or even our reels or shorts, then you want to make sure like have I subscribed. Okay. So once you do that, you'll be in the clear. Okay. And so if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me. Also, if you need some help with your health goals, make sure that you go to our website at robody.org. Make sure you go to robody, that's ROBODY.org, and then you want to click on that button before you do any scrolling, that button in the center of your screen. Okay. And that's going to allow you to sign up for a one-to-one health consultation with me. And we're going to get started working on your goals. Okay. I'm serious about your goals, but the question is, are you ready to become serious about your goals? So if you are, make sure that you navigate to our website, hit that button, sign up for a one-to-one health consultation, and we'll get this started. Okay. And so until next time, I will talk with you